Yeah, this is gonna be take two. I'm I saw that the playback wasn't worth a ham sandwich, so I'm just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to do this again. So bear with me. We gonna deal with this again. So the topic is basically wealth and relationships. Okay, so I was saying before that basically you have wealth. A part of wealth is having, a good partner, a good spouse. If you research all of the like wealthy individuals, one thing about them is that you will find that they have a spouse that supports them, that helps them in their endeavors. You will, when you cover back the mask of wealth, you will find that these individuals have someone that they're in a relationship with, and it's almost the opposite pretty much for poor people. A lot of poor people now, they don't have relationships. They have relationship problems. They have problems with they have problems with keeping, relationships intact. All of that is interrelated. So I'm going to break down a couple things today. Some of the things I'm going to mention, I've already said in the other video that I had problems with sound, because decided I was going to do a live stream on, basically, terrible, crappy service. But anyway, what I said before was that when it comes to relationships, and when it comes to wealth and relationships, I'm gonna make this even shorter because I kind of last point I was talking about when I was talking about wealth and relationships is that basically a lot of times the people, I mean, when you hear like the negative stuff about, getting married or having relationships, a lot of the times I wanna talk to you basically from a perspective of basically not a, a like you see people that are in out and about and they're having terrible relationships. They're on the bottom levels of that same hierarchy of needs. So of course they're gonna have problems with relationships. So a lot of what you hear is people that come from that bottom level, and even if they had made some money, they still came from that bottom level. And a lot of times people that are on a higher level, they have more positive experience relationships because they didn't have to go through all that goofy stuff like mama left daddy because he didn't pay the light bill, and he decided to go drink with his buddies. Like all of that type of stuff, that's perspective and talk from bottom level type of, living. That typically is what that type of talk you hear. Like, and a lot of times we people base their actual way they're gonna live their life by listening to people that give bottom level advice. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is that they have a lifestyle where their parents came from a bottom level type of living, and then they might be top level now, but they have the mindset of a bottom level person giving it to the world. Got to be careful about that type of stuff. Now, the perspective of what I'm saying is that from financial experts and gurus, they make an important distinction between one of the important basically steps of maintaining wealth and also having a good financial outlook is that you do have a spouse or a partner that is helping you, and you both are helping each other out to get to the level that you want to get to. Now, I'm not saying that you necessarily have to be in a relationship to be wealthy. No, by no means. But the when you pull the mask, like I said, of wealth, a lot of individuals that are wealthy and have already been wealthy have had spouses, even if they had divorced. They actually have had spouses and even married multiple times. So you know, it's the thing about the reason why I said relationships, once you get to a certain level, is not a problem. Once you get on a higher level, is because basically, financially you can handle a relationship if it goes awry. Because one thing about money is you're looking at from an individual from the perspective of someone that has $500,000 plus and wealth, no debt. You commoditize women at that point. Women literally could be bought. I mean, I was raised in Islam, so I mean, literally, part of marrying a woman is you give the husband, I mean, the father, a dowry. So that literally is that you are paying the father for raising that woman, and she is basically indebted to her family to be a good woman and be a good wife to that husband. So if she doesn't, she's basically, I mean, making her family look bad, making her, father or mother look bad by, not doing what, meeting the obligations of that dowry. So, like I say, I mean, once you pass a certain level, I mean, you start to look at things as a commodity. I mean, women are just basically at one point just someone, not saying that you diminish them of anything, but you can handle a relationship if it goes awry. If you got, $5 million, $50 million in a bank account, I mean, of course you're gonna have a prenup. I mean, I think that, like I said before, because the sound was messed up, if you got over $100,000 of if your net worth is $100,000, meaning that you have positive worth of $100,000, you have no debt, you should get a prenup. Okay, you should definitely get a prenup, an arrangement. If the marriage or relationship dissolves, what's going to be done about the children, what's going to be paid, and all of that. You should already have that, because that's a lot of what you hear, the hangups, as far as, man, I left my woman and she took half of this and half of that, or took me to the cleaners and left me. I had to go live with her mama. I mean, her my mother again, and all that. Is because pretty much, for one, you didn't have the upper level taken care of. You were basically probably even keel, and a lot of times in my situation, I pick the woman that was not the right woman to be picked. I mean, um, in my opinion, when you choose a woman, you should choose a woman off of basically how compatible she is with you, complementary, her actual feminine prowess, such as she's very confident with being a woman. She's not trying to wear the pants in the relationship and actually compete with you as far as being the best tomboy she could be. No, like a dress wearing, proud, feminine woman with feminine energy, and basically helpmate where she just does the basics and does it well, like meaning cooking, keeping house, taking care of children if she has some with you, um, being able to basically do basic stuff. And then above basic things would be if she was able to help your business out, because women do have something that they bring to the table that has value. They have feminine energy. They have feminine, energy that could be that could help you in your business. Because a lot of times women are very good at customer service because they talk a lot more than men. On average, women talk way more than men do. Okay, so being a cashier, teaching a woman to actually be a salesman, a lot of women can be very good at sales, so they can actually help your business. So it's like just that's like more of the advanced type of thing. But even if she have the basics down and then she knows how to sexually satisfy you, I mean, those basics are valuable to a man that's gotta hit the ground running, and he's trying to obtain wealth or already maintain his current wealth. If he has that to come home to, that's very, very powerful versus not having it. Okay. So like I said, a woman that's very nice, feminine, complimentary to you, and also very agreeable, um, and takes care of the basics like keeping home, keeping the house clean, keeping the children in order, and um, taking care of making sure she is also on point as well and pleasing you, like I said, sexually. I mean, that's just basic stuff. So if a man has that in a woman, that's valuable. Okay. So with that, without outside of that, another thing that I mentioned when I had the sound issues is that um, you know, like I say, if you look at the relationships that are sour or messed up, I want you to do some homework. I got some homework for you, and I want you to come back and comment on what you see, because in my theory is that a lot of relationships that you see that are go afoul, where are they on the relationship scale or financial scale, such as, are these people on the bottom of the financial scale, or are these people on the top of the financial scale that's having these bad relationships that go sideways? And the people that are talking about, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, and then all that, were they raised poor, or were they raised upper middle class or upper class? And I'll just tell you without even having to do the research, I guarantee you most of them I have either already been bottom strung, as far as they're bottom strung right now, or they have been in a relationship with a single mother, or a relationship that went awry and they were poor. I mean, arguing over light bills and gas bills and food and stuff like that is bottom tier living. I mean, just basically on the lower echelon of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Of course, you're gonna have problems with relationships when you're on that point. What does he say? SS excels. Yo, bro, I think I just gave my plug an extra $10, bro. What do you mean by you just gave? Um, what are you talking about? What the hell? Yacht PJs. Prenups can be overturned by a judge. Just pick a spouse with a good head on their shoulders and don't have kids until you can financially support them. People will find more success doing that. Man, I swear, man, it's like you read my mind. Now I got to show the Maslow's theories of needs again, because I mean, I just got to go back to it, man. I just got to go back to this chart, because I mean, people don't really understand. They probably didn't watch the last video, but I gotta show this chart again. Okay, so let me share my screen, and I'm gonna show this chart. Okay, so this is the chart again. So I'm not gonna make this video long. Okay, it's look at what the comment, what Yacht's PJ said. When you're on this level and you're trying to choose women, what are you let's be real. What are you trying to choose women for? What is your motivation at this level? Your motivation for, if you're trying to choose women when you don't have a good solid place to live, your health is bad, or you in a bad environment, how you're basically choosing women off of survival mode. So of course you're gonna have problems with women, because you're way down here. Now, what y'all saying is that once you get up here, then you will have better choices and not be so thirsty and hungry, that you will choose a better spouse, because you don't it's not a you don't you have all of this bottom stuff taken care of. So I mean, this is what I'm saying by basically bottom shelf type of living. Of course you're gonna have problems with having a good partner and all of that type of stuff, because you don't have this bottom stuff down. And then a lot of times, here's the thing: people been in the bottom so long that they need lifetime therapy to even have a good relationship, because they're so traumatized, with basically they mama, they daddy lived in poverty, they lived in poverty, and then even though they overcame it, they need therapy because they go into relationships with that poverty mindset, with that lack of abundance mindset, and they end up having issues, and then they can't, because they had trauma that they have not dealt with. It's like a lot of people have issues with that, because you'd be like, okay, like for example, someone that like Dr. Dre, for example. I mean, why is he still having problems, and he's a millionaire, super mega millionaire, even though he did have prenup? He had a prenup. Okay, they arguing that probably in courtroom now as we speak, but he was on top here. But Dr. Dre came from where? Compton. Okay, he didn't he did get into money early in life when he was a teenager, but you take from being a baby to a teenager, being around all that violence in Compton, and being around, I think he lost his brother, I think, due to gun violence and stuff like that. I mean, that's a lot of trauma to overcome. And then not to mention, what was his parents' upbringing like? So they bring this generational trauma to where, yeah, of course you're gonna have problems with women, because you're in a traumatized situation. You throw some money at it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna make everything better just because you throw some money at a situation. So yeah, I mean, pretty much, I mean, that's that's right on point, yacht. So let me see here. Let me read these comments here. So you saying, okay, hold on here. So I think, you know what? I didn't even share that actual I didn't even share the actual pyramid because I got it blocked. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna change it here, and then that way it's already on my banner. That way you could just see what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna just put that right there. All right. So let me see. I think my man's okay. He wanted 50. I gave him 320s, better or more. He wanted 50. I gave him 320s, better or more. Facts, my lack of abundance be with school and sisters, expects me to be graduating RN, knowing the dysfunction we all came from ain't the same. Facts, my lack of abundance be with the school and sisters, expect me to be graduating RN, knowing. So are you saying that you mean women that expect you to be a RN, but you had came through a lot of dysfunction? Um, I don't get it. And then are you like are you like giving people change on the street or something? Like you, you gave somebody 320s instead of giving him a 10 and two 20s. I mean, is that what happened? So yeah, I mean, this is the Maslow's theory of needs that I was trying to show or whatever. But like I say, I mean, you gonna have issues when you right down here. That's why they say, a lot of cats. The whole thing is like a lot of people are saying you got to deal with yourself. You shouldn't even try to even get with no relationship until you deal with all of this stuff down here. And then rise above, then start dealing with relationships because I mean basically um when you get to this top level here, this blue level right here where it says morality, creativity, spontaneity, like even when you're here probably in the purple, this down here is just you basically dealing with people. Now, yeah, when you get sexual intimacy involved, yeah, you have feelings and emotions. Oh, you said no right now. They expect me to be graduating right now, knowing. Oh, have you ever been to college or are you in college now or whatever? But yeah, once you on that top level, then basically like I say, you take the sex out of it, you dealing with people. You should be able to, I mean, when you're on this top level right here, you are a boss. You are, pretty much the master of whatever you're doing, of whatever field you in when you up here. So you already should be used to dealing with people, delegating tasks, duties, and providing jobs for people. Now when it comes to picking a mate, like Yacht said, you should already at that point have your financially house in order. So it becomes a situation where you just want to protect your interests, and then you after that, what, like it's like this chick I was talking to. I was like, basically, the worst thing you could do is you could put me on child support. I mean, literally, that's like typical. I mean, you could do worse. I mean, he could kill me, could poison me, but the worst thing you could do is put me on child support. And then, I'm already. I mean, I can handle that. I ain't gonna necessarily say I like that, but that's literally what I said, and I meant that. But think about it like this: you got a $500,000 in a overseas account, right? An offshore account. Okay, but on paper you only got $50,000 in the bank, but you got a $500,000 in an offshore account. You think a person will be worried about child support at that point? No, I don't think so. Because you already got money in another account that's not legally traced to you. You have money already. So child support wouldn't even be an issue. Okay. Um, if you have a certain lifestyle, yeah, I mean, if you're married, you could she could take half of what you have half of your residence and all that. But that's where the prenup comes in. But then even before all this whole goofy shit, I'm gonna get to you SSXLs. How about this? I gotta highlight this again. How about it's about what you pick? It's about who you choose. So when you do prerequisites, like I'm gonna get back to that again. I mean, part of what I was gonna talk about was one of my future videos was like 10 unconventional things you should ask a woman. And a lot of times, what that is, these unconventional things that I'm mentioning, it's gonna weed out women because I mean, a lot of things is like you're gonna weed out all of the like bad apples. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, you do pick someone that probably won't even have that much problems with. I mean, I'm just saying, like if you pick a good car, you gonna have a car that's is gonna be good for you for a while. I mean, I'm not saying women are cars, but it's just like that. If you pick right, a lot of times you gonna have a good situation. I mean, you're gonna have a good woman if you pick right. I mean, obviously. But okay, he said my plug wanted 50, I gave him 60. I know I dropped out of school my sophomore year of high school. All right, so you a street entrepreneur? Is that what you up to? SS. I mean, like Jay Z, I can't knock the hustle, man. I can't knock it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot of people that's involved in what is called the System D. System D is pretty much underground, the underground economy that is not listed. And a lot of people actually came out of System D and actually became millionaires. So Jay Z is one of them, definitely. Sean Carter, and then another person that a lot of people don't know, the Kennedys. Their grandfather was a bootlegger. Okay, and their granddaddy took the bootleg money and he took it and put it into from the system D and put it in a regular system, the regular banking system, and the rest is history. That's why they don't really like the Kennedys because of that. That's one of the reasons because they actually cheated. They went from system D to basically hustling bootleg liquor to basically putting it into the actual um regular like banking system and actually became very wealthy. Became a very wealthy family. Well, I mean, here's the thing. If I could have went back like 20 years ago, I wouldn't have not went to college. I would have learned like more certifications. Like if I would have went back, let's just say if I'd have went back 15 years, you know, I would have basically just got my CCNA. Okay, so a CCNA will put me as a networking engineer. So being a network engineer, I would have made at that time about 60 to 70 thousand dollars a year, single, no children, and I would basically within a few years make over $100,000, and that just requires about 15. At that time, it took about probably $1,500 because the test was like 400, a couple $100 because you had to take like a couple tests, and then sorry about that, man. I'm gonna pause the video and let my nephew cry in peace. All right, I think he's done crying a little bit. If not, I'm gonna have to grab him and see if he can stop crying. But anyway, like I was saying, is a few ways I could have basically saved myself from $60,000 in student loan debt by not getting all of going to college so far, getting all that debt basically. Because hold on for 1 second. Yeah. It just I have to highlight this comment again. I'm sorry. Because this, my friend, I can make a topic just on this alone. This is basically what I said before he even hopped on. This is what I said. And you know, it is what it is, but I mean, yeah, basically as I was saying, college is very good. What college is good for is for things that you actually have to go to college for. So to be a teacher, you actually have to go to college. To get your teaching degree is a teaching degree is a prerequisite, or some type of degree is a prerequisite for being a teacher. And then also, if you going to be in like special education, you have to be certified for that. So you have to go to school for that. To be a doctor, you have to go to college to be a doctor. To be an architect, you have to go to college to be an architect. To be a lawyer, depending on whatever state you in, you do have to go to college to be a lawyer. Illinois, you have to go to college to be a lawyer. I think California and other states, you just have to have a lawyer or a law firm sponsor you, and you just basically have to pass the bar or some certain level prerequisites that you have to accomplish, but they don't necessarily have to involve college. But you actually can be a lawyer in some states by simply certain prerequisites and just passing the bar. Now, what I hear about California is the California bar is very difficult to pass. Okay. So yeah, you got that, and then another thing, to be like a social worker, you have to have a degree to be a social worker. To, be a even to make more money or to get higher up, you have to have a master's in social work or even a doctorate. So it is certain, like, for jobs, certain jobs, you do need to have a degree. It's a prerequisite to get said job. Even a lot of companies, they won't even hire you if you don't have a degree or simply a bachelor's, or some master's degrees are a requirement for a job. So it all depends. But um, yeah, I mean, I was listening to MOT's show on Ramil's channel, and he was talking about trucking, and there's just so many ways you could make money in trucking. I mean, you could sell trucks, you can actually have lots for people to park trucks, you can drive trucks, you can even dispatch for truckers to find loads for them and make money. So it's a lot of ways, and none of those require any college, and you can make hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every year doing every one of those. I mean, my cousin, her husband mate is a trucker, and she lives good. She just drives a bus, and they live in a upper middle class community, and they live very well. Okay. So yeah, definitely. Now, another thing is, when it's regarding wealth, is that when it comes to relationships, the reason that I mention relationships is because your other half a lot of times is significant, has a significant effect on how, on you actually even being wealthy. I mean, like I mentioned before, I don't know if I mentioned it in this particular live, but the one I had where I had audio issues. I mean, when you have a woman to come home to, and you want to, having that person to fill that void, to get your rocks off and all of that, that's powerful. A lot of times men need that to actually go to the next level, man, to feel like Superman, to hit the next day. I mean, because a lot of times guys, what they do is they pay some woman to actually do that, to be there so they can get their little rocks off, and then they go about their day. I mean, if you got, your woman or whatever, your wife, to do that. And then I'm gonna also mention that I mentioned in the other video, you don't necessarily have to get married on paper. I mean, now you want to get a lawyer, because I never did that, but it's ways you could get married where it's more of a, maybe a religious ceremony and stuff like that, and it don't involve, filing paperwork with the government, and where you got all of these like government mandates where she automatically gets half and this, that, and the third. Now, I don't know that the legal requirements of that or whatever. You definitely want to contact a maybe a family attorney or something like that, but you don't necessarily have to get married in some courtroom or file a court document and stuff like that, because one thing, as a person that was married, it's easy to get married and it's hard to get out of marriage. It's kind of like jail. It's like it's easy to get in, but it's a whole bunch of hoops you got to go through to get out. And that's kind of how marriage is. At least the paperwork or legal perspective of actually once the marriage dissolves. But like I said, like Yacht PJ said, you really don't even want to think about marriage when at you're at this level below here. I mean, you just trying to just basically survive at this point, because this means basically you having problems with living in a conducive environment. You living in a high crime environment where security is an issue. Employment is an issue because you either live in check to check, or you could be fired one day to the next, and then you don't have any money or resource. You have a lack of resources. You're in debt. This at this point you're in like really serious debt. I would say, because you have a lack of resources. So you really shouldn't even really be thinking about marriage. You should be like, maybe have a plan for it, because a lot of times people be on that, like they plan for marriage. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have sex, but if you have problems, and you on this level, don't say I didn't tell you. I mean, because when you on this level, like you really like teetering between survival sex and then trying to have sexual intimacy, because you don't have all of these things taken care of. I mean, a lot of times that's why a lot of people have problems in relationships. So, you really, like I say, ideally, like I'll just say it, like as far as monetary value, this level is like you barely surviving. Like you sleeping on somebody's couch, you like sleeping in a homeless shelter, sleeping in your car, even on the red level. I mean, you might have little to no money, or barely surviving, working check to check, like poor working class type stuff. This third level, where you can like actually be like smile in front of company or have friends and stuff, have a beer. I mean, you make like, $50,000 a year. This one is like 50 on up, 100,000. This is $100,000+ a year. I mean, I, you really want to be in this level where you're making above 50 to be like thinking about trying to actually have some type of relationship where you can actually have positive sexual intimacy with hardly any issues. But I mean, I definitely would say you want to be the best person of your actual self. But I mean, you definitely want to be high up here, like y'all said, before you even consider picking a woman. And you ideally, here's another thing, you don't want to pick no bottom. You don't want to pick, man. You do not want to pick no broke ass broad that's way down here. Just that's another thing that when it come to women, women are very smart when it come to money. I'm gonna tell you. Now I've found tens. I can count how many wallets I done found in my life. I ain't never found no goddamn purse laying on the ground. And if I did, it didn't have shit in it. Okay, women marry up. Okay, typically. Now, one thing about men do, they typically don't give a fuck. They marry on the bottom. They marry on the bottom, but sometimes they marry even keel or whatever. What I mean by that is that they marry somebody that's like on the same level as them. But a lot of time, men marry women on the bottom tier. They marry women on the bottom and be wondering why they be having problems and shit. It's because you marrying a broke ass broad. Because here's the thing, one thing about women, when you broke, they not fucking with you. Okay, but men marry women that be or get with women that be broke as hell and then be wondering why they have problems. I mean, but okay, shit, I do anything, but I don't want to be stuck at a one job forever. My friend's a mailman at 28 and feels stuck. I want to build boats and stuff that can house people. Uh, I want to build boats and stuff that can house people with storage. But oh, okay, yeah, yeah. That they do that in the UK. They be living in boats, but from what I heard, you gotta have a lot of money to live in one of those boats. But you talking about like a house, oh yeah, 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 all that. Yeah, if you broke, man, forget about it. I mean, one thing, man, you can study women, man. They a lot of times they don't be on no dumb shit like that. Like they'll deal with a man, but they know it's just they getting their little rocks off. Like they'll deal with broke dudes, but they just be getting their little rocks off, and they know it ain't nothing, and they go right back to they significant other, living a little monogamous pretender lifestyle, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, women, real. If you watch them and listen to them and see how they move, man, they real good with money, man. Real good with finding the best dude and you know what I'm saying, hitting that jackpot. Men rarely come up off of women. Okay, financially, like they rarely can do that. Like a lot of times, they can a person like that is called a Mac that could get women for their money and stuff like that. But most of the time, men just want to get a chick, just a regular chick, or just to get off on and hang out with, be cool with. A lot of times men don't get women that are of a higher tier than they are actually at. So if they broke, they 9 times out of 10 dealing with a fat chick or a chick that is broke as they are, or if not broker. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I mean, it's always exceptions to that rule, but that's typically how that goes. But at the same time, men, like I say, they typically it don't matter. They'll deal with a chick from the bottom, the top, whatever. But they typically probably, I think it's more of a control thing. They like controlling the chick that's happy just to get her hair and nails done. Because once a man got, he reach a certain level, hair and nails ain't shit. That ain't nothing. That's like small time stuff. So if you get a basic broad that's happy to just get her hair and her nails done, and you buy her some gym shoes, I mean that's like hitting the jackpot for a rich dude. So yeah, it's tripped out, but at the same time, how I look at it, man, is you dealing with somebody that really be hard pressed to help you in your endeavors because she's broke. She don't know, she don't have a clue on how to do what you do. You know what I'm saying? So if you get broke, then good luck on trying to get some help from someone that you met that was broker than you are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just is what it is. But you know, with that being said, it's like it's all about what you choose. I mean, who you choose to be with. That's really the important thing. It's nothing wrong if you get a chick that's she on the bottom, I think, and or whatever, and you help her out to come up or whatever, and then she's like intelligent, she has some value to herself. She just so happened to didn't have any money at the time. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. But you get some chick that's on the bottom that she ain't trying to do nothing. She just trying to get with your get in your pocketbook and all that. You know, talking about listening to Megan the Stallion and all that shit every day and trying to mimic that type of lifestyle. Um, which I don't even think Megan the Stallion even have lived that lifestyle. She just rapping. But yeah, got them types that can't help you uh turn a dime into 25 cent. I mean, you have all these problems. That's what I'm talking about. But it's all about who you choose to be with. Definitely. I mean, who you choosing. But let me see. I'm trying to find my power cord for my charger. Let's see here. I'm in the process of trying to move up the hierarchy of needs my god doggone self because I my friends have to try to I gotta find me a better place to live. Uh Hopefully where it's quiet and you know, all of that good stuff. But anyway, I probably just let me see. I got a little battery life left. Um he said humble people. I could ride this on out with this little juice I got. Humble people are usually low key. They're not going to be on the scene all the time. Yeah, true that. You know, let's see here. Well, at least a shit ton of them trying to find that needle in the haystack is a waste of time. I'd rather control my relationship and not waste bread on hoes who make much more or as much as me. Uh, I mean, you know, a lot of times men get what they can get, and they know why they can get what they can get. It's where you at. If you live in the hood, the only thing you gonna pretty much mostly get is what a hood chick. If you go outside the hood, you know you might feel a little intimidated because the chick might not want to talk to you because she find out you live in the hood and then you ain't trying to pretend that you don't live in the hood. So then you going into classism. You know what I'm saying? But it's all in your perspective, man. I appreciate you coming to dialogue with me or whatever. I'll just say this, man. I mean, this chart here, you it don't matter where you at, it's where you want to be. It ain't nothing. I mean, this is one of the richest countries in the world. If you are in the United States and you live in the hood, you can wake up in the hood and then go to sleep you know, outside the hood. I mean, I've lived in the hood before. I mean, hell, I bought a house in the hood. So I'm gonna be trying to make the hood a better place. You know, Gary, Indiana, for example. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was the cheapest house that I could get. It was a good deal, and I bought it. And I'm trying to buy actually another house. You know, and I'm actually in the works of trying to get me another job, because another full time job. So and it's gonna be remote if I get it, and I make some more money. So I'm trying to buy me even another house. You know, so if you in the hood, try to be try to be the best person you are in the hood. Try to buy, buy up, some real estate if it's cheap. You know what I'm saying? Buy up as much as you can, because it might not be the hood 10, 20 years from now. You know, it might be a neighborhood. Because I mean, it's part. I could show you areas in Chicago where it was the projects, but now they selling $1 million, apartments. I mean, I kid you not, literally right where they filmed Candyman, where the Cabrini Green housing projects are. They got $1 million mansions and all kind of, not so much mansions, but buildings where they have apartments. They selling for like $250,000, $500,000 suites. Right there where the projects were, where 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 it was a whole bunch of plugs. You know what I'm saying? Selling weight and everything. You know, so it's all in your perspective, man. I'm an optimist, so I think optimistically about a lot of situations. So I mean, I ain't judging nobody, because like I say, I mean, I just like I said, I bought a house. I bought a house with a lot next to it that's open, um for small sum of money, and I'm in the process of fixing it up. I'm gonna be living there. So but in the meantime, in between time, I have to go find another place to live. So I gotta get some temporary housing, and it's been kind of hard to find. I got the money to move, but it's like all these places have these red tapes and shit. So what is the property taxes? Okay, so my property is $1,000 a year. And yeah, it is flooding concerns. Anywhere in the Midwest, because it's off the lake, for some reason, because of that, then it's just very wet. So it's a lot of water up under the earth already, and then it's just kind of somewhat wet in the Midwest. So yeah, flooding is definitely a concern. I'm running out of battery juice. I can't find my charger. I'm gonna have to close this one on out. I appreciate all of you joining in. I'll definitely be on again Friday for Finance Fridays. The next wealth topic is definitely going to be, what was I saying before? What actually is wealth? What is the definition of wealth, in my opinion? Okay, that's going to be the next Wealth Wednesday. But I bid you all a good night, and yeah, make sure you count your money, SS. Y'all have a good one.